there.
Hello and welcome to Profiles in Risk. This is your host Tony Cañas, and we're recording episode 250 maybe something along the lines. It's hard to keep track anymore. And today I have with me Carl Moulton, and as always, I didn't ask you how to pronounce your last name. Hopefully, I got it
You
right.
did a good job, Tony. Thank you.
Awesome, awesome. So thank you for joining me today, Carl. So Carl has been working on this idea for a long time, and it's starting to take shape. And if you are an agent, this is going to be an episode you don't want to miss. So Carl reached out years ago to publish a couple of articles on Insurance Nerds about what he calls DMCOs, or digital marketing cooperatives, and they've always kind of gone over my head since I've never been an agent. And they've always seemed kind of hypothetical, like a good idea, but kind of hypothetical. And now you're at the point where you're actually implementing. So,
Yeah.
what really brought us to doing this podcast is he recently published this white paper, How to Build, Implement, and Grow a Successfully Dispersed Digital Insurance Agency. And it really caught my attention. Like it's very well written, very interesting, and actually like beautifully designed. So it was, even though it's 20 some pages, it was very easy to get through. So take it away. What uh,
Yeah.
what is this crazy idea that you're finally implementing?
Well, thank you, Tony. I appreciate the opportunity to speak with you and everybody involved in the insurance nerds universe. And this is something that's been in the making now for 10 plus years. I've been in the insurance industry for 35 years. And I appreciate the opportunity to talk about it. So it started out with failing miserably in certain areas of digital marketing and trial and error and implementation, and then realization of what's actually needed is the ability to integrate two of my softwares that I developed with existing software as a services that every agency needs to use today, especially if they want to create that successfully dispersed digital insurance agency of the future, which is COVID-19 proof and actually more along the lines of how the millennials and I would say a lot of people would prefer to interact with an agency, which is online and have their own choice whether or not they want to talk to somebody or just get a quote in the future, and in some cases buy it right now, and depending on the complexity of the risk. So we were able to successfully put together two of the four digital components. Digital pillars is what I call them. One being a DMCO platform, software as a service, that essentially will open up any of the 42,000 zip codes within the website of the agency, iframed, and then display any URL address that the agency principal or who's ever running the back end of it wants to display. And we could actually do a demo. I don't, of that. It is in place right now. But what was always lacking is, okay, how do we grow the agency without the need of bricks and mortar, comparable to an agency franchise that there's a couple of them out there. They're very successful and pretty much led the way in this whole concept, but they are lacking in the DMCO functionality, and as well as what was lacking with the multi-raters and the quote and buying API web forms provided through MGAs and direct carriers like Thimble. They didn't have the producer level web forms. So one of the second components we built was what I call the API wrapper on the domain name WrapMyApi.com. So that is the second software as a service. So those were the two of the digital pillars that we're bringing to the table and all in digital marketing. And the other two that are out there already is a cloud-based client management system, and the other one is a voice over IP phone system. Those are the four essential pillars needed to create a digital agency. supported by a home office, real agents in that state of operations. So you have producers that don't have to work out of any bricks and mortar office. So there's a competitive advantage there. And you equip them with the latest and greatest API-enabled web forms that are available. You customize them to the point of the local producer in that community working their center of influences, their natural markets, if you will, their known markets in the traditional way, but using their time and energy to drive traffic to the agency principal's website with assurance and knowledge that they are going to get credit for that prospect that gets that quote through that website for that zip code because it's exclusively theirs. There's no choose your agent kind of thing, which is the way current franchise websites work. No, it's their territory, it's their web form, and it's their ability to grow within their communities and grow the agency overall and be supported by the agency principal's home office.
What I think is crucially important is you've provided a solution to this problem that I think all multi-producer agencies have in today's era, which is I want my producers to be active on social media and bring in business that way, but why would they do it if there's no guarantee that business will be theirs, right? Like they don't gain much by bringing leads to a raider if they don't end up getting the business. If it ends up being house business or ends up going to a different producer because they happen to be the one that got the quote first, right? Or whatever, or right, the people chose like you said, like there's a choose your agent and they didn't know who actually brought him in.
Yeah, and there's a risk of losing that prospect. So the outside producers are not going to spend any time or money or effort in driving traffic to the agency's principal's website, which is in dire need of traffic, as we all know. SEO doesn't work that well, quite honestly.
Well, and with insurance, it's expensive. Right?
Oh,
You're
yeah.
competing with the Progressives of the world, and they have damn near unlimited budgets.
So if you're not going to get these 1099 independent producers to do that, to drive traffic to the agency principal website, unless you have all four components of the digital pillars in place, integrated, with a well-executed plan of marketing and training involved and customer service involved, and just basic agency management, running an agency 101. And that's what I've done with this paper. And again, this is accumulation of everything I've learned about the business over the past 35 years. And as my paper indicated, I'm a second generation independent insurance agency, and I'm getting up there in the years, and I don't plan on doing this the rest of my life. But I do deeply care about the agency distribution channel and its success into the future.
Okay, so now you continue to be an active agent, and now you've launched all in digital marketing and some associated domains for the different tools. So WrapMyApi, and what's the other domain? DMCO.
DMCO Builder.
Okay.
That's
so,
for the.
So basically, if I'm a listener, I'm an agent, or an agency principal, why should I give you a call?
Okay. Well, first of all, only call me if you're interested, if really interested, or if you just had honest questions. And if I'm wrong about any of the paper, I invite a call. I would love a conversation because I am a perpetual student, as is your host Tony. You can tell he's got 65,000 initials after his name.
When you say perpetual student, you've got both CPCU and CLU. I've got to say, even though I've got a bunch, CLU is the one that did me in. About 2 tests in, I'm like, what am I doing with my life? That's the one that got me to stop. Anyway.
Mr. Alphabet, yeah, that's a good name for you. Super Alphabet Man. But okay, so yeah, I would welcome a phone call. It's on my phone number is on the website, allindigitalmarketing.com. There's YouTube videos about why we even exist, All in Digital Marketing. So we have a channel on All in Digital Marketing, YouTube videos about us and about the two software as a service. They both have websites, WrapMyApi.com. They both have YouTube videos, which are actually linked on those domain names, and then DMCOBuilder.com. And after you take a look at it, if you think it's worth a while, give it a go. It's totally risk-free. I'm not like your typical software as a vendor provider where you collect all the credit card information and you just hope that they forget about the automatic renewal. No, you get to try both platforms for free for 30 days. And then if you don't like them, fine. You didn't pay a dime. If you do like them, then you'll quickly realize they're well worth the money. Doesn't cost hardly at all in both cases. DMCO Builder, I will say, is mostly, now DMCO Builder is for the agency principal. It's for the lead distribution, exclusive lead distribution of leads. So it can only be the agency principal that talks to me about that. It's his or her decision to do that. WrapMyApi is designed for anybody to subscribe to, any licensed producer, because I don't think you'd ever get pushback from your agency principal for wanting to drive traffic to their website through their, I should say, their agency web forms, not necessarily through the website, because you could use your Wrapped API web form anywhere you want. You could use it in your social media accounts. You could use it in your email. You could join a separate digital marketing co-op, a different DMCO if you want. Again, you would not get any pushback from them at all. Anything to help you grow is going to help them grow, and yeah. If you do get pushback, I'd love to hear about it. Certainly,
So really, this is a labor of love for you, for the industry that you've worked in 35 years. More than trying to launch an insurtech.
Yeah, and insurtech is, my venture into the world of technology and insurtech began in 2008, and it's evolved and it's changed. And I was telling Tony, as you know, Tony, I've had a lot of failures before I finally put it all together, and we put it all together here, and we hold it out to you. The white paper that we're discussing now, just go to allindigitalmarketing.com, just put in your email address, and we'll email it to you right away. But yes, it is a labor of love. You could see that's a photo of my father. He was the very first insurance agent in Cocoa Beach, Florida, back in the space race days. And
I love the historical context of including your dad, and there's a lot of white papers out there from different service providers, and I've got to say to listeners, this really impressed me, not only in the design being really clean and easy to read, but also it's not trying to sell you anything. It's giving you the recipe, and then you're able to help with it if they want the help. But really giving them the recipe for this vision of an agency of the future. So I highly recommend you at least read the white paper. It makes a really good case for this idea. Or for these 4 ideas coming together, and you really have nothing to lose. And now that I know that they can try it for free for 30 days, you really have nothing to lose. I'll include the links in the show notes.
Right.
And it's been a pleasure.
Yeah, and just lastly, as we mentioned, Tony, before, I do sprinkle an awful lot of practical application in there, even so far as how do you recruit licensed producers in a state that you're trying to move into where your agency principal is licensed as well. How do I train them? How do I document that training? How do I follow up on the training? How do I manage it? It's all in there. And again, I do invite you to read it. If you find there's any error or any better way of putting it together, please let me know. I want to know. I really do.
It definitely reads very, very well. It's easy to follow and very, very actionable. And it's almost weird to call it a white paper because white paper is so often used as thinly disguised marketing within our industry, and this feels more like a manifesto. And not only that, it's so actionable, so like practical. This is how you actually do it. You don't, right? We can help you, but this is how you actually do it. So I think.
Right, we're trying to survive in this digital world as a viable option in the agency distribution channel. And Tony, and I do appreciate your candor, and I thought the article you wrote about basically the direction in which the industry is headed regarding the agency distribution channel, particularly the captives, just resonated so well, and it's so true. And I know you did a lot of research and you interviewed a lot of agents, and the reality is I don't want to see us go away because I still think there's value in it, even as something as transactional as auto insurance.
On the commercial line side, for sure,
still hold value.
Agencies are not going away. Brokers are not going away. In the personal line side, they shouldn't go away because the advice that they provide is valuable. I think that the agency channel has not done a good job on that side, on the personal line side, in making sure that they are more than just order takers. I mean, there's a few.
Yeah.
But yeah, anything we can do to serve. I love that you're talking about serving the client the way they want to be served in an omni-channel kind of like whichever way you want to work with us is fine. And that's really what you're building is that ability, which is very hard on the independent agency side. Very hard to have that omni-channel presence, and in a way that doesn't disrupt the producers, right? That the producers get properly credited or compensated for the business that they bring in.
Right, they get to leverage their own center of influence right there in the community. You know, if you're friends with an agent that's licensed and they send you the link to get a homeowner quote, an accurate homeowner quote comparison, you like it, but you're not sure, how to complete the transaction, whatever, you just call them. It's the link's right there on the wrapped API. The API is wrapped in such a way that you can call that person's cell phone. You can text them. You can get back to them right away before you even complete the process if you need to. Or if you're good with it, you just go ahead and get the quote, and if you like it, just buy it. One day the buy now button will be there on the multi-raters as well, one day. I think you're going to see more buy now buttons on carriers providing their own API web form first before they show up on a multi-rater quote.
Oh, no problem.
Anyway, I'm sorry, I kind of deviated a little bit. But.
Awesome. Thank you for your time. Thank you for joining me today. I think this is important stuff.
Thank you, Tony. I appreciate it.
Thank you.